Hello, and welcome to what will most likely be 30 minutes of you watching me be boring, listening to me be boring. But you know, it's fine. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have the best time that we possibly can. I hope you do not expect me to be able to explain everything I'm doing, because first of all, this is at 1300% speed, so there's no way I'm gonna be able to catch up to it. Second of all, there's a couple things I know about this, but I mean, you probably do not want to consult me for art experience or anything like that. That's just poor on your part. So today, that said, we are going to be working on Melnae, which is a World of Warcraft character that my friend commissioned of me. I streamed it on Picarto. I think about a week ago. I barely know what day it is today. It's after Valentine's Day. I know that. woke up with a head cold yesterday morning, so I've been just shoveling Mucinex and tea in my mouth, trying to get me feel better. Starting to do a sketch right here, Dem Hips. Starting to do a sketch right here. I didn't always do a sketch, but that's just me being lazy. I'm very lazy, very lazy. Very lazy. Hope you're enjoying the music. I hope YouTube is enjoying the music. I'm not putting this up for monetary or anything like that, so hopefully they'll just fuck right off when it comes to saying I violated terms of service or anything like that. That said, I should probably put a thing down below and remind myself to do that. That says I don't own any of the music. I also don't own World of Warcraft or Picarto or Mango Studio 5 or Clip Studio or Adobe Premiere. I really don't own Adobe Premiere. This is don't ignore that. Adobe, go away. Don't listen to me. Working on a face ineptly here. There's a couple things I really liked that went with this piece. Most of it being the face and the final product of the face and the hair and all that. My lines were much cleaner, and since then I've taken precautions to get cleaner line work done, stuff like that, then rather than the scratchy bullshit you're gonna see at the end of this one. That said, I hate World of Warcraft armor. It is so over-designed. It's just a pain in the dick to draw. These eyebrows and those ears they're just gonna get wilder and wilder as we go on. We're already on the second sketch here. I'm gonna pour some tea. My throat's killing me. So, excuse me for a second, listen to the common beats of anime or techno, or whatever the fuck I was playing while I was drawing that. I have that off because I'm not sure how to get that to play without you on Audacity hearing it. So, until then, we're going to figure that out. We're going to figure it out hopefully between now and the next video, which I will haphazardly try to post in 1 week. We'll see. We're going to try to do this every Monday. Yeah, me, myself, and I, we're going to try to post one of these commentaries up every Wednesday. So as you see, the pose is just mostly her pointing at a sword in a World of Warcraft magic fashion. I haven't played World of Warcraft in years. I don't remember anything. She's a bit lanky there. It's fine. The proportions of the sketch is actually going to be much better than they will be later. And the problem with that is, well, you'll see. The World of Warcraft armor gets in the way, and it makes me have to redesign a good bit of the pose later on, which pissed me right the fuck off. Another problem I have had streaming that I just noticed last stream I did is that her a good portion of Manga Studio 5 is getting cut off by OBS, and that's something else to figure out. I have another stream in like 4.5 hours, so well, hopefully I can figure that out before then. No? I'm gonna take some tea. I hope you caught every little bit of gross moment of that. So, aside from that, like, I think now we're about... Oh. Oh yeah, I was drinking Jaeger and Nos. A good, nice, tall foxhound mug of that. I was drawing. Alcohol's wonderful, isn't it, kids? Kids drink alcohol every day. Look like those old Soviet posters where even the children's faces are just red from the alcoholism. It made their blood warm and they almost toppled America, right? Reagan's ghost is spinning around in a whirlpool as I say that. Whatever. I'm gonna have some more tea. I'm gonna pour some more. I'm not gonna drink some yet. It's good tea. There's a place at the mall called Tivana, which is possibly the most hippy dippy store I frequent, but man, do they have good tea. I've got this sweet and spicy Asian blend going on right now. Oh, well, the alcohol's in my system again, as you can tell from the... Actually, I'm fairly sure I always draw in all caps. Or I always write in all caps. That is delicious. That's delicious. There's right now she's got a bit of a cross-eyed thing going on. I think I'm gonna fix that. I do fix it before the end of it, but see. I was working off a World of Warcraft screenshots. I was working off World of Warcraft screenshots to get everything right. Yeah, there I'm fixing the eyes, cleaning it out a little bit. See, like I like the face a lot. But pupils are overrated. I'm still trying to get over hair. Hair is still a little bit difficult with my certain skill set. Yeah, isn't she quite sexy? So, I'm sure some of you know, based on this, and I don't know if you follow my DeviantArt at all. I hope you do. I hope you like, subscribe, and follow, and all that shit on Tumblr, and Twitter, and DeviantArt, and YouTube, and all that shit. Makes me at least feel good about myself, in a way. But, so I love Plague of Gripes. He's a really good artist. You should all check him out if you haven't already. He does videos like this as well. And his artwork is much better than I. But one thing I've definitely taken away from watching his videos is you should always... Well, not... wow. Way to fuck that up, that promotion. You should... When doing females and you want them to be quote-unquote sexy, you really need to focus on eyes. Eyes are very important about that. Yes, and he he also showed me how to do those insert round objects for some easy circles. Because man, all of us artists we have such a hard time drawing circles. Apparently, I know I'm not the only one who does it, but here we begin. Here's the shit wrecker right here. Here's where. Yeah, they're fucking stupid. That's what that says. They are fucking stupid. Of course, that got cut off, and we'll figure that out hopefully. But yes, the production of the art at this piece just grinded to a fucking halt with these shoulder pads. And looking back on it, I probably could have used the insert objects thing like I did with the circles, which I do later on in later pieces, and I'll do later on this piece with the sword. I found it's just yeah. Oh, past me. You're such an alcoholic. So as you can see, like the lines upwards they're fairly clean. They're not totally stark in contrast, but the line work on the shoulder pad is just awful. That's terrible. It's utterly terrible. It's gonna get even worse because this is a new program I'm used to Paint Tool Sai, and while Manga Studio 5 and Paint Tool Sai are very similar, there's some things that I still haven't quite found in Manga Studio 5, and there's certain things that are just I haven't figured everything out like I used to. I was gonna go. I realized at this point that the pose I had wasn't going to work, and I figured let's just have her fingering herself at the side of the sword. I was like, no, that's silly. That's just silly. So I decided to cut that out. Still mad about this arm. Don't look too closely at it. You'll realize it makes very little sense. I think I knew that doing it, and I was just like, I just want to get done with that. Admittedly, I feel terrible about it, but you have no idea how much I hated doing that. the shoulder pad. Shoulder pad's awful. The rest of the armor's not so bad. It gets a little over-designed again towards the bottom of the robes. Looking back on it, I maybe would have... taken some artistic license and redesigned it a bit. Here's every artist's greatest struggle: hands and feet. Never let an artist tell you that they are masters of drawing hands and feet. There was a whole semester in high school, in art school, art class in high school, where he was like, all right, you have to draw multiple hands every week. And while I hated that teacher, I mean, even now, if I want to draw like a realistic looking hand, I can fairly do it. The only problem with it is that if I try to draw hands on model, or realistic hands at the moment, I use my own hands as model. Unfortunately, I really, their big hands are just really chubby as well. They're just thick fucking hands with not short fingers, but they're. It's a little. I'm just proportionate. Okay. All my hands are a little short and stubby, and as you saw there, I had to lengthen it a little bit and enlarge it towards the top just to make it look a little more right. I think I seriously hate these fucking shoulder pads. And no one flagged that. So fucking good. It comes with this. The tea comes. Tivana sells this rock beet sugar. You put the bottom of the teapot when you're brewing it. And, oh my lord, it's just fantastic. I was hoping like this would be a healthy alternative to like soda or whatever, but I'm fairly sure the way I sweeten this shit, it's just it's probably even worse for me. Alright, around this time, the person who commissioned the piece, she came into the stream and she let me know that the hair... it was hard to tell with the screenshots she gave me, but she actually has long hair in the back. At that point I decided, okay, I am going to take some artistic license there, and we're just going to make it a little more prominent. Her long hair is a little more prominent. So that's what happened there. At this point, I really like checker designs. They're hard to do, so... I also paint Warhammer models, and I've never painted an orc yet. That's I want to start an orc army soon. I don't want to go through all the bodies. That said, the checker pattern you see on a lot of orc stuff is it looks like a lot of fun to do. It looks like a lot of fun to do, and I like the way it looks too. I especially like interlocking diamonds and hex patterns and stuff like that. Oh, they look so cool. But I'm probably gonna get a stencil for that or something, because freehanding that stuff, I can barely freehand the Ultramarines logo I do, and that's just that's just a U, a stylized U. I have a hard time with it. So here's me using my brain to make the sword blade with the insert object feature. Just really just curved lines, straight lines, all sorts of stuff. It's really nice. I'm doing it again. It might be a bit lazy, and it is probably very lazy, because... So, I was trained traditionally how to draw. This digital art thing was something I learned how to do, very much afterwards. I started becoming an artist. And, that's why my digital art doesn't look too great. Like, I don't have a lot of examples of my traditional art anymore, unfortunately, because I left it all at home, or it's just hard to find. Which, like, my oil paintings and stuff like that, they look very good. Like, if I do say so myself, they look very good. But I'm just pretty much still very new to this whole digital art thing, and for one thing, my biggest problem with working on a tablet so far, and I've overcome it to a problem, like, if I get really into it, it's not so much a problem, but starting out, is that what you see, like, you can draw on a piece of paper and you can see, oh, that's where my hand is right now. I can work from that spot. I have a good reference point of that. With a tablet, it's a little more hand-eye coordination intensive, in that you, especially in a mouse like this, I have a Huon 610 Pro where it does auto-tracking. Really, the auto-tracking on it's very strong, in that it oh, she looked like she had a punch here, so I figured to redesign it just a little bit. It looked terrible to me. I end up erasing all of this, I think. or end up erasing a good bit of it. Yeah, even then I was like, that doesn't look right. Gotta get rid of that. But yeah, I work on a 610 Pro, a Hue 610 Pro, and all it does for the most part is that so it jumps to wherever your mouse is at when you come back to it. That's something that you can either mess around with in other tablets to get rid of. It's basically just eliminating a feature that's more newbie friendly. It doesn't act as much like a mouse, so it's a little more difficult to work with. It's fine overall. I really want actually one of those the new Wacom, the Intuos or whatever it's called. I'd like one of those eventually. I'm gonna use the 610 Pro probably until as much as it breaks. But well, I enjoy other features of it. The fact that it can be wireless is fun. All sorts of things about it are really nice. Probably grabbing more Jaeger, taking 5. We're going to go take a piss. As you can see here, the line work's pretty much done. As you can see, once we get further down, the line work gets a little bit better, and at the same time, right at the end of the robe, it was obvious I just kind of want to be done with it, and admittedly, ashamedly, I got lazy with it. It's a little flat, and we'll definitely see it with the color, because I'm still trying to get color to work right with Mega Studio 5 as well. Here's me checking references. I thought about doing a background from... I end up making my own background. Here's me messing with a part of the screenshot I was looked up that showed me the Blood Elf home area from World of Warcraft, and I figured I'd maybe try to do that for a background, but I decided, no, I'll just make my own. Mostly because I couldn't get it in a stylized way as I'd want. Looking back on it, if I really wanted to push 110% on making it look cool, I could have put it into Photoshop and done the thing where it makes it look like a comic or whatever. But here's me struggling doing lines, so I figured, hey, I could just do, in a little bit I'll just decide, hey, I could just do curved lines. This is a lifesaver. I love this feature. It's probably a little bit lazy, but man, oh man, does it just save so much time and effort. I guess the line work wasn't... I forgot about the head and all that. I think I'm going to do a line through the sword as well. Yeah, it was on the curved line kick. I decided why not. Ears. You all know this, you're looking at it. Alright, so I think at this point I decided it's time to do color, or try to. The pictures I got, unfortunately, were a lot paler than the final product ends up being. But that was me struggling with getting the color to work like I wanted it to. I also end up changing these gray lines out for black, as we find out in another piece later on. Digital Devil Sneasel, as I called it, which was a Digital Devil Saga Pokemon thing. I like doing my lines in gray, and while that looks nice in highlighted areas, in flat color and dark areas, it's too bright. So I either need to go back and work on it. Like I'll try to switch to color to lines, I believe, sometime after I get done with the just basic coloring. And I have a hard time with it, so I end up abandoning the idea. It's unfortunate. Another problem I had with this piece is many colors. There's many shades of purple that are just slightly different. And of course there might be a feature on Mega Studio 5 that lets me... What am I trying to think of? That lets me more accurately change the hue of color, so things might look a little more different, or make it a little more easier to pick something that's different. I think I did an okay job, as far as that's concerned. Not great, but okay. I ended up changing that to silver, because I figured... I also hate the color purple. I know it's a lot of people's favorite. I don't like cool colors in general. I like hot colors. I like my yellows, I like my reds, I like my oranges. I have a giant Warhammer 40k Ultramarine army, which is all blue, as the name would imply. And And blue is my least favorite color. So, just figures I pick the army that's all blue. It's about every other army I collect, I try to make red, though. I try to stay away from it, but it just happens. Well, that looks hysterical on the stream. The selection tool. Okay, I think here's me trying to change the outline color. Things aren't really working that well, though, so I think I end up abandoning the idea not long after this. I end up turning oval outline black, because I figured it would look better, and in the end, I think it was the right choice. Unfortunately, it caused other problems later in the piece. Mostly all these white dots we now see because of color differentiation. So here's me trying to thicken the outline a good bit. I like my thick outlines. It varies up. So I know on on a pen and paper, I'll use different pens depending on what I'm drawing, but it's sometimes hard for me to judge, still being relatively new digital art, what size I should be using for what. And while I could take a lot of time to do it, unfortunately I was still on, not a time limit, but I promised I'd have this piece done by the end of that night. And me being irritated at in general, I just want to get done, and that left a lot to desire as far as wow, I cannot talk today. Brushstroke variants. Take another 5, possibly for more booze. If you've ever tried Nos and Jaeger, it's fantastic. It's, I know, like a Jaeger bomb or whatever, but no, I just put a couple ice cubes in a giant mug, put a can of Nos, and just pour Jaeger until it's that right rich amber color. Like, it's fantastic. Nos has really become my, it's become a good drink of choice, whatever, for mixing. Okay, so we're starting to get on shading. Excuse me. So, a lot of people tell me that a lot of people like my shading. I don't think it actually looks that grand, but I mean, I work my ass off to try to give it some. I like the harsh highlighting and stuff like that. Especially I think the hair turned out very nice. I'm gonna end up, I believe. I realize that her character has pink highlights or some sort of coloration to the hair that I end up enforcing on it, which makes it look a little bit weird, but it's fine. I'm also more of a painter than I am a line work artist, so I only got the idea to start streaming and recording the commissions I do after the fact that I decided to start trying to do line work, and unfortunately you couldn't see a Vincent Valentine from Final Fantasy VII piece I did recently where I did just straight up painting for the most part. And I think that turned out, as far as colors go, a lot better. I guess you just get a better feel for it. That said, again, as you can see here, it doesn't look terrible. It's going to look... The parts where I got frustrated or lazy, like the shoulder pads, are down below on the robes. That looks a little worse, as well as the problems began occurring with the way I did the outlines and all that. I love highlighting. Coloring and highlighting is my favorite. That's why I enjoy painting so much, because sure, it looks fairly poor at a base coat, but I mean, the more you add to it and the values you add onto it, it just looks fantastic. It's lovely. It's just lovely. I should probably, for future reference, looking at this, use a wow, my brain. Use a pen tool with less of an opacity on it, or maybe even a stronger opacity, to showcase stark light on armor or metal. Perhaps that's a good idea. I think I do that a little bit on while on my next or the piece after this. Overall, as you can see, like, the shading's not terrible. It definitely could use a little more attention and work. But at this point in time, I think we were about 7 to 8 hours in, and I was beginning to have none of it. There I am changing the hair color, and again, it doesn't look bad at all. Just a slight pink coloration. More purplish color, unfortunately. There's me trying to do some starker contrast on the metal. It's at this point that I'm trying to think of where light source is coming from. How much, like, what the background should look like as well. I decided to do something like something similar to the screenshot I was given that she was in a dark, I'm gonna guess it's like a home area, a hub area in World of Warcraft. Again, I haven't played in a long time, I didn't recognize it. I figured I'd try to copy that a little bit with some much darker colors. Oh, head cold to the rescue before I say for the umpteenth time. I have some tea. It's gone cold. It's not as good cold. As you can see, I'm starting to have some trouble down here. I'm getting a little lazy, unfortunately. And I'm having trouble with the program being able to tell the differences in hue and shading. So did everyone have a happy Valentine's Day? I say as I try to buy myself more time watching me fix up the hair a little bit. Hope you did. I had a good one too. If you didn't, I'm sorry. Can't win them all, right? Can't win them all. We're finishing up here with the sword, I believe, is the last thing I might work on. And then I begin the background, end up making it, oh, yep, now we're gonna do, so I know most Blood Elves have green eyes, but, the reference I was given told me that she had a blue purplish, more purple, yes, I know. There's me getting different values up, me messing. Oh, what happened here is my tablet straight up just desynced for some reason. So I ended up doing the rest of the piece by mouse, regular mouse. That leads to, I wouldn't say problems, but it just became a hassle. So for the rest of the piece, it's just me adding some glowing and the background. Yep, starting the glow, like she's enchanting it, or identifying it, or whatever elves and mages want to do. If you play a magic class, you suck, by the way. I'm sorry to let you know that, but it's true. Warriors are where it's at. I got a soft spot for paladins too, but no, warriors are best. Warriors are best. Yep, gave this background. It's very simple. I just took a couple elements from a screenshot, shoved them in there. Adding a little bit more glow effect, give more light. I think, yeah, I lower the opacity just a little bit, make it not so overpowering. Now that's me, I believe, saving it. Oh, you're not supposed to see something on there. Yep, and that was it. Thanks for watching. As far as, if you saw the stream, you already saw that already, but, yep, that was, the end of the piece. I've got it coming up in just a second here, I'll remind myself to do that. It's, again, I generally like how the head and hair came out. That uses, more of the smooth outline line work that you'll see me trying to employ later on in my pieces. I like the glowing as normal. I liked doing the highlights and the lighting and all that. I think it was a lot of fun. Things I'm not so crazy about. Naturally, the line work I did on the shoulder pads and the lower robes are a little flat, if not, and also sketchy. Doesn't look quite good. Not a huge fan of the background. I feel like I got very lazy with that. But aside from that, I mean, again, person who commissioned was pretty happy with it, and I can't really ask much more than that. The hair has lowered, the highlight makes really no sense, but I feel like I wanted to break it up from the darkness. Either way, thanks again for watching, and hope you had fun listening to me prattle on. Have a happy day. Bye.